Welcome everybody to the Clear Tai Chi Mastermind meeting for Friday, March 25th of 2022. I'm with you today, Richard Clear, your resident host. And with us today is Donn in the Washington, D.C. area.
Hi everyone, I'm in Greenbelt, Maryland. That is 12 miles east of Washington, D.C.
Welcome. Harry Legg in Verona, New Jersey, outside of New York City.
Hello there, Sifu. New Jersey Tai Chi is the school. Also have Paul Shansky, one of our instructors, who's in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Thank you. Great to be here.
Daniel Hill in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hello, everyone. I'm teaching Clear Tai Chi all throughout the West Valley, and the school name is Phoenix Internal Arts.
Mark Michaud in Michigan. He's going to tell you what parts.
Hi, I'm with Able Tai Chi, covering the Midwest Michigan area, covering Lansing and Grand Rapids.
Welcome. Shella Bell in Costa Rica. She's going to tell you what parts.
Hi, everybody. I'm in the Northern Pacific area called Guanacaste, close to Nicaragua, and I have classes in Liberia and Playas del Coco.
Welcome. Ty Talbert in Colton, California, and surrounding areas he'll tell you about.
Hello, everyone. I'm in Colton, California at the present time, the Inland Empire, but I am packing up and moving to Texas along with 44% of the city of Los Angeles, and I will be in San Antonio in May.
Are you saying that a bunch of them are going to move with you?
It's about 44% of the city of Los Angeles is planning on moving.
Okay.
And probably a good third of that are moving to Texas.
About a third of okay.
Yes.
Yep.
But a lot are coming your way too.
Yeah. We've seen people coming from California to here to Tennessee. Oh, I was hoping you were going to say some of my students are so dedicated that they're moving to the Austin area with you. So, yeah.
One might.
Yeah. Oh. All right.
Actually, one of the other group that I train with, he's planning on moving there.
Welcome. Cool. Excellent. To continue to study with you, or just because that's where he's at in life?
That's just where he is in life.
Well, at least he'll know where he's studying at. So
Yes.
practicing at, or as the case may be. Yeah. Okay. And then Jim Kelly in Boca Raton, Florida.
Yep, Boca Raton, Florida. And please don't address the elephant in the room on why everybody's moving, but a fair number are moving to Florida also. We're in Boca Raton, Florida. Got I think Mark sent down some cold front this morning. Actually dipped down to a frigid 66 degrees this morning.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, my heart goes out to you, Jim. Hey, yeah.
Welcome, Jim.
Pleasure to be here.
He said, yeah. Okay, so today's topic is tied into the Clear Tai Chi family gathering, international family gathering, and that will be June 2nd through 5th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Really, for anyone kind of listening to the call, it's really going to be June 3rd through 5th. There's something.
3rd through 5th. Okay. 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah. And then that's going to be a lot of workshops from our different folks on topics ranging from how you use Tai Chi in a martial way and applications to different kinds of health aspects and applications, and specifically in depth. And then also other things with Tai Chi that are important topics and points and aspects. And there will be some things there that are exposure to the levels from Li, of course, the physical. There'll be a little bit of stuff there. Definitely some stuff that involves the Chi level, some stuff that involves the E, the mind level, some things that are talking about heart mind. And that's XIN, Jin level. Jin, I don't pronounce it very well. Some Jing level. I know we're having something on spiraling and waving and applications of those things, both for health as well as for martial. and so on and so forth. So great time. We'll have a panel discussion on the Saturday night and a banquet. We're already looking like we're going to have a pretty nice turnout of a lot of clear Tai Chi and Tai Chi enthusiasts and some guest instructors and all of that. So if you're interested in that and want to come out to that, which we highly recommend, then you'll want to go to taichigathering.com. That's www.taichigathering.com and sign up. It's a place to be June 3rd through 5th. All right. Today's topic is Sheila, who will be teaching at the gathering, and her topic is Tai Chi on Autopilot, how to get the benefits of Tai Chi throughout your day during regular activities. And we're going to start off by, hi, Sheila.
Hello.
And we're going to start off by having you give us a reasonably brief personal description of your class for the 2022 Clear Tai Chi International Family Gathering, so that people at home can get an idea of what it is that the kinds of things they're likely to see, experience, get exposed to in your class.
Very well. So the class will be an interactive application, so to speak, a little bit of pantomiming and a little bit of actual manipulation of stuff. But the takeaway for you is not necessarily the specific examples in my class, but the way you can incorporate Tai Chi into whatever your daily activities may include.
Cool. Okay, great. Yeah. All right. So with that, we'll let you begin, and you've given me some write up here for kind of what you want to get into. Go ahead and get it moving.
All righty. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little bit here. I hope no one's offended by that. Tai Chi is a wide and multifaceted practice, and the benefits are broad, almost to the point of panacea. This is due to the stress relieving properties. In other words, if we can blame stress for the chronic issues that we suffer from, we can also credit Tai Chi for the relief of those conditions. And it goes beyond that as well, because in addition to relieving stress, we also rid the body of tension, improve muscle tone, learn to focus the mind, refine our physical, energetic, mental, and spiritual balance, and learn to neutralize threats. And that's not a complete list either, but you get the idea. It's kind of a widespread belief that Tai Chi is a form of exercise where you go and do a set, right? You put aside time, and often the image that people have in their mind is a group of people that meet in the park in the morning and they do their Tai Chi to get ready for the day. And that is a fantastic practice, which should be encouraged, but it doesn't end there. It's for different people, it may look quite different how they practice. But by incorporating the Tai Chi into your daily activities, you can essentially broaden your practice and gradually until it permeates your whole day. Obviously, that's not you doing the form as you walk down the street. That's not what I'm talking about. But in Clear Tai Chi, as we focus on internal aspects, it's completely possible to be practicing those internal aspects while you're doing things. Practicing Tai Chi constantly becomes a lifestyle. And it's also a trampoline for your personal development. For today's discussion here in the podcast, I would like for my colleagues and for Sifu to discuss this particular topic of using your Tai Chi principles, positions, and techniques during daily activities outside your designated practice time. It can be a personal experience point of view, although student experiences are also valid if you have a good story. You may wish also to include any of the following aspects. And by the way, I'm going to go first just to give you time to think a little bit and give you an example. But if you have an aha moment when you connected a challenging or frustrating situation to a Tai Chi related solution, like so bringing your skills into something that's not formally your practice, or an emotional benefit for using your Tai Chi to triumph over some kind of resistance, any kind of transformation of a drudgery or a failure to a success and a joy. So can it be an emotional benefit? Newfound ability related to the use of chi or structure. And by ability, I mean something like in your daily life. Okay. Anybody need clarification before I give my example? All right, well, so my example, and I chose this because I hope everyone can relate to it. And honestly, if you really don't relate to it and it's about washing dishes, then hopefully you can still use this by offering to do the dishes, because you're going to make two people happy that way. You'll make yourself happy with this technique, and whoever normally washes the dishes will also be thrilled. So I don't know what in my past led to this particular feeling, but and it didn't really happen when I was growing up. When I was growing up, I was happy to wash the dishes for some reason. But in my own home as a mother and a wife, I often would get stuck doing the dishes, and I really found a lot of resistance and resentment around that. And I always say that the only reason I wasn't breaking them instead of washing them was because I would have had to clean them up as well. So I would just be very, I would have a lot of really negative self-talk about, you know, why do I let this happen? How come I haven't trained my kids better? Why isn't anybody helping me? And my fingernails are getting ruined. And I don't know, it was just not a happy time for me. And you may relate, if not with dishwashing, with some other kind of daily task, right? So as a Tai Chi practitioner, I found that if I would apply good structure and do a little bit of, mostly it was constant bear, right? A little bit of cloud hands in there as I'm washing and then rinsing and then putting up to dry and washing and rinsing and putting up to dry. And by going into that practice, which was not only the physical, but also the internal, by the time I was done washing dishes, I was actually super happy, wishing there were more dishes to do, and completely, you know, on track to go into the next new activity with a great mental state and feeling a lot of satisfaction and joy. So that's my little example. I don't know if anybody has comments. What I would like to do with the format today, so it doesn't go too long, is that if you have not spoken yet, perhaps you could make a comment when it's your turn to speak. If you have already spoken and you have a quick reaction, a sentence or two, then go ahead and feel free to participate as a discussion. Jim, are you with us?
Yeah, Sheila.
Would you like to go next? Do you have an example?
Hey, you know what? And just like everybody else on the board, you know, your questions are sort of a surprise when they come out. And you know, I was just sitting here laughing because it seems like I've managed to make a whole career out of one of the Tai Chi moves. And in police work, one of my, you know, the first thing that pops into mind is the Tai Chi movement of roll back and push. And it's that whole philosophy behind it. You know, being a first responder, you're usually called to the scene and there's always something bad happening, or you're starting off on a negative foothold almost. And, you know, it seems to be that you wind up taking a little fair bit of abuse first, so to speak. And, you know, and then you have to basically roll back and accept it and rechannel it. And then, you know, come back forward. So, you know, great example comes to mind. You know, I was just chuckling. You know, I hate pulling people over and doing car stops, but you know, one day I pulled somebody over, and it was a woman, and she was definitely in a rush, and she was just so agitated and, you know, so negative, and why are you pulling me over? You're gonna make me late for work. And I just told her, I said, well, ma'am, you know, I rolled back, took it, smiled. I said, well, I just wanted to stop you to double check. I noticed the car seat sitting on the roof of your car and there's no child in it. So I just wanted to make sure you didn't start out with the baby in the car seat and lost it somewhere. She said, oh my God, I just stopped and dropped my daughter off at the daycare center, and I guess I left the car seat up on top of the car. So it's the whole, roll back, you take it all and you absorb it, and then you let it go again, and the day is done, on to the next thing. So I find too, in another note, more serious, but those of us that have raised children, you tend to use that same cycling situation. Kids will they'll vent, or they'll be angry for a little bit. You roll back, you take it a little bit, and you let it redirect, and then you're able to feed back in and get the lessons that you need to teach back, back into them. So that would be my response. I hope that's along the line of what you were looking for.
That is exactly what I was looking for. That was a great example, because you're not talking about that physical motion. You're talking about what that movement has taught you and how you can bring it into your daily life. So appreciate that. And yeah, that would be scary to see a car seat on the top of the car instead of inside. Thanks for sharing, Jim. Art, anything come to mind?
Well, yeah, my example of Tai Chi in life is in the morning, for example, getting breakfast, where want to walk into the kitchen, and then you have your dishes in a cabinet, cereal in another cabinet, and you're standing over the counter, in front of or behind the counter, whatever, and reach into the cabinet, but you don't just throw an arm up and grab it, but just move the whole body. Moving, you can move from the feet with the whole body connected. So there's a lot of turning the waist, and that just puts the arm forward. And you can open the door, turn the waist the other way, reach in, grab the box of cereal, reach around, closing the door, just with the whole body connected, moving it in a compact, efficient manner, and then maybe take a step to the right or the left and get your bowl and cereal. And again, just using body mechanics and whole body motion connected to take care of getting everything set. I find I like to do that. And then what I like about applying the Tai Chi principles to daily life, and in a case like that, for example, is it augments my Tai Chi when I practice that because I've been doing it more throughout the day, it feels that much more fluid and efficient when I practice the form. So that's my story. Thank you.
Very good. It's probably less likely to drop anything or fumble with the box and that kind of thing. It just makes it a little better somehow. I find myself feeling that way at the grocery store when I'm reaching for the items on the shelves and bringing them into my cart and that sort of thing. And you can do it with the whole body. It's a little more graceful, but it's really actually more efficient and less dangerous. Not going to drop a jar of pickles in the middle of the aisle. Thank you, Art. Tai, what have you got for us? Words of wisdom?
Elizabeth's making lunch. Okay. Actually, now that you mention her, I have two things. And that first one is with Elizabeth. She has never really done Tai Chi with me, but because of her having the blood clots in her lungs and having some trouble breathing, she has been doing her daily breathing exercises. And so she's doing some good full body breathing, that sort of thing. For myself personally, I have always had a lot of tension in my body. And when I first started doing Tai Chi, every time I'd have my alarm set so that when the alarm went off, I would go into Wu Chi and get rid of all the tension, which drove her crazy. So I started going ahead and doing it every time I walked through a doorway, every time I walked into a new room. I'm like, deep breath, lower your shoulders, relax. And now it's just become a habit. I got cut off on the highway. Deep breath, Do all the things from Wu Chi, relax. I'm watching a football game. My team's losing. Deep breath. Do all the things from Wu Chi, relax. It's just part of who I am now.
I love that. Do you have a comparison as far as how that has supported you? A comparison to how you may have been previously to how you react now or don't react?
Yes, I mean, I don't even come close to having road rage. I haven't made any improper gestures in years now. And with, people in general, people seem to think that, wow, how come nothing seems to bother you very much anymore? It's just things that other people expect to bother me, they don't bother me, and they comment on it.
Yeah, I personally find that driving is a bit of a litmus test, right, for how how your Tai Chi is advancing, because it is traditionally kind of a place where a lot of people kind of lose their normal calm. So congratulations on that, on your evolution. Thank you, Tai. Harry, anything come to mind?
Well, I can attest personally to driving and getting rid of that road rage here. Living in the New Jersey, New York City area and coming from LA as well. Holy cow. But that wasn't the story that I wanted to share. A couple of the Tai Chi classes I teach are specifically for senior citizens. And in one of them, I had a new student. Just looking at her, I would guess she was probably around 70 or so. And I had gotten to the point where I was teaching the brush knee movement. And for those of you on video, you can see this. I'll just describe it for those listening. We're doing brush knee, and her hand is like this. All the fingers are all extended and tight. And so I come up to her, and I'm looking at that, and I go, and I show her my hand all nice and relaxed. And I said, "Are you able to do this?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah." It fixes her hand right away. And I'm thinking inside, oh, whew, good. She's not all arthritically, in bad shape like I thought she might be. Excellent. So I get back to teaching. Literally 30 seconds later, she's back to her hand being all crazy tight and whatnot. So her husband was also taking the class. And after the class, he takes me aside. He goes, "Harry, she has so much anxiety. She's afraid of everything." And I said, "Oh, it's manifesting right there. You can see that physically." So it was around about, I would say 2.5, maybe 3 months later, of her and her husband taking the classes twice a week. She comes up to me and says, "Harry, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm able to calm down a bit more now. Not perfect yet, but there's a noticeable difference. And this class has made a huge impact. Thank you." I'm like, "Great, awesome." So if that's not a testament, I don't know what is for helping that sort of issue.
Cool.
That's fantastic to see that kind of progress in your students.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, if she would tell the story, she probably has a lot of testimony to how that influenced other aspects of her life as well.
Yeah, I would sure hope. Yep.
All right, Daniel, what have you got for us?
Well, as far as applying Tai Chi principles to my life, the story that probably first comes to mind as far as using clear Tai Chi for it is, as everyone on this call knows, I was living abroad for a good long time. And thanks to COVID making it somewhat difficult, I had to come back to the USA due to lack of having a visa with where I was quarantined. And I came back to Arizona, which is where I had grown up. I had gotten rid of everything before I left. So I came back and I'm like, great, I'm here at the airport. I have no car, no bed, no home, pretty much nothing at all. So trying to restart my life, what ended up happening is I bought a pedal bicycle and had to pedal to the first job I could find, which was working in a dingy warehouse, 60 to 70 hours a week. And biking there and back was about 22 miles round trip. And I also had to do all my grocery shopping via bicycle for the first several months until I could afford a vehicle. And needless to say, I was very tired. But compared to a lot of the people in the warehouse that I'd work with that are a decade or more younger than me, they're complaining about being tired. Their posture and their gait movements aren't there. They're complaining of wrist and shoulder pain and knee pain. And I'm like, I got all this energy. Come on, let's go. Let's finish out this day strong. And that's because I was consciously always lifting with the unbending energy. I was always trying to do whole body breathing. Anytime I felt the tension, I would just try to wave everything out, which was pretty much every hour of every day. Moving around with good posture, hanging from a string all the time. I was able to push myself in a way that, everyone around me didn't even believe would be possible, because they're like, how can you do that? Working overtime and biking as far as you do. And I'm like, well, I'm still having the good energy and sometimes good mood. And when not, I had to try to get into the now state and be like, all right, in the now, there's no problem. I have a roof over my head. I have food. I have all these things. And being able to endure through that until I could make my conditions better was all thanks to clear Tai Chi and applying all those principles hour by hour for several months.
Sounds like you found a really great solution to a very challenging situation and got in quite a bit of practice in the meanwhile.
Oh, so much practice.
So for those of you who are wondering, there is actually some guidance within the system on this. There's a DVD set called 24/7 Qigong that Richard Clear has out. So if you're looking for more information, come to the gathering and participate in my class, but also you can look at the DVD, which is also available online. I mean, as an online class. Of course, the DVD can be ordered online, or you can take the class online. Mark, you're up. I know several people in your family are also doing clear Tai Chi, so I'm kind of curious if that's affected your household in some way on a daily activity basis.
It makes the horseplay more fun when I'm heckling. But I won't go there. Probably the one thing I noticed is, as far as like in everyday life, and I was being real conscious about it, is utilizing skills. Just, well, if anytime I could think of it early on, I would try to use the skills in everyday life. So I would look at the thing I was doing and go, well, how would Tai Chi affect this? And the ones that were probably the most interesting were grocery shopping, tinging people as I walk by and going, oh, right hip. Oh, their knee hurts because of their left hip. Oh, their lower back hurts because their neck is out. They're tight on the right side of their neck. That probably would be the thing that stood out as far as something really interesting, is being able to sense injuries you walk through, and that most people are broken in their structure, have issues even at a very young age. And then the other thing is, and something to be careful of is, I was working on structure real heavy for a while, and I would be fine if I was paying attention, but what I would do is I would push, you go to push or pull open a door to go in somewhere like a store. If I was paying attention, I was fine. But if I stopped paying attention, was just started going, oh, I got to get in the store, and I had these principles turned on, I would flip the door open and it would crash like I was having a temper tantrum, and I'd be like, oh, you're thinking, you're afraid the glass is going to shatter, everybody's looking at you, like you're going to lose your mind or something. So I kind of stopped doing that, because it was just, I had one mistake and that was fine. But then when I had a couple more, I was like, okay, I got to not do that. Because you get to going, you just kind of like, oh, I got to go over there. That's the thing that I found, that's the thing that's causing it to happen, is when all of a sudden I switched from opening the door and I've already gone, oh, over there. Kind of like the dog from Up. Bird, and you go, and all your attention goes somewhere. That's what makes the door go and fly open, is what I think. But yeah.
I can see that, and I can sympathize too. The other day I was trying to open the trunk of my car and I like ripped a piece off my car. And I was like, what? And my girlfriends were all with me and they're like, oh yeah, Sheila, you don't know your own strength. I was like, okay, I guess so. So yeah, you do have to be a little careful, but I think it's still good because it's teaching you how to modulate and how to, control that, because you don't want to not know,
Yeah.
you gotta measure that and figure it out. So
I don't want to pay for anything though. Any broken things?
There's a
Good
point in
point.
the training where when I really know somebody's starting to get that, they're working with me directly, regularly, where I warn them, like, especially if they've got kids where they're going to be horseplay, or even if it's I'm old enough to be old school punishment, kind of a thing. So like, okay, for the next few months, when you're doing anything like that, be extra careful. And I make sure they get what I mean by that, because otherwise it'll be like, well, I just tapped them. Yep. And it had like 20 times the power you thought it had in it. And so you have to be, you have to watch what you're doing. And then the goal is to be able to still use that, but also to be able to run the range from very slight to obviously a lot, while being correct like that. And it just becomes your new normal, ideally.
My daughter is doing the Tai Chi too. And what's funny is, how you'll kind of poke at each other. You'll be funning around and poking, or, screwing with each other. If I go to poke her now, like I'll turn and look at her, I'm behind her. So go, don't touch me. She'll know do it. So
Carly had learned how to do that with her mind, doing the touching, and so she was running around in the office between me and Matt and figuring out which one of us wouldn't she could get the closest to without us noticing it, and touching you, and it'd be like somebody took a metal pole and went pow. What? And she'd be like, and off running. Okay. So
next step is they learn how to mask their intentions. So
yeah,
That was part of it.
she kind of got that one before she got the other one.
And then it was just a matter of picking which one of us was most engaged in his work at the time, and bam.
Yeah.
very good. Okay, Matt, you're up next.
Yeah, so I mean
Matt, I forgot to introduce you during the regional organizer introduction there.
Oh, I'm
This is
here.
Matt Holker. He's the regional organizer for
Maryville, Tennessee.
Maryville, outside of Knoxville. Welcome, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. I forgot it too, but yes, I'm here today. No, glad to be here. And yeah, I love the 24/7 principle for training in Tai Chi, because Sheila, like you said, so many people have this idea that like you do your Tai Chi and it's like you do it for a few minutes a day, or you do your form or whatever, and then you go back to live your day as stressed out and out of shape and overextended and whatever else that got you all messed up in the first place. And that's not it. You're doing the practice of Tai Chi to inform your everyday life and live better kind of all the time. And I just love applying that principle all over the training. And so I guess the best example of that I can kind of share right now, that's just sort of off the top of my head, something that happened to me more recently, is that one of the things I'm always trying to do to get myself, is get myself in better alignment and with better like ground path kind of naturally built in. And so the process of taking a skill set that you've worked on and making it something that's like 24/7 for you, for me, what I find over and over again is that I'm very mindful of it, very, very mindful of it most of the time. And then one day when I'm not thinking about it, something happens where I realize that whatever I've been kind of working on, like keeping on all the time, it was on, even though my mind wasn't like on it right then and there. And so, I'm always checking in regularly, when I'm just standing around, or if I'm doing anything like at the grocery store, if I'm reaching for something or whatever, I'm always trying to check in and make sure that I'm in good alignment, that I'm not overextending, that I'm really not in double-weighted error kind of anywhere. And I check in like that a lot with myself, but obviously you can't keep your mind on that all the time. And so last week, actually just a few days ago, a guy in my life, my sort of almost stepson, turned 18, and he had an 18-year-old's birthday party with other teenage boys. And of course, some moderate, like, roughhousing kind of ensued, and all in good fun and all that. But at some point in the course of the day, one of the boys, who was probably, several inches taller than me and probably outweighed me by a good 40 or 50 pounds, ended up like slamming into my back. Like he, kind of went over backwards, and I was faced away from him, and he slammed into my back, and it took me completely by surprise. And I didn't budge. Like my integrity and my ground path was so good and on, even though that's not what I was thinking about at the time. I was just talking to someone else, that when he slammed into me, it all routed into the ground, and I didn't get knocked over. And I actually held his whole body weight up with my structure, through all that momentum and everything. And it didn't kind of, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. Oh, I didn't realize you were there," and that kind of stuff. But it didn't phase me. It didn't affect me. It didn't like move me at all. It just, went right into the ground, and my whole frame like held him up, where he would have gone flying like into the couch or something if I hadn't been there. And it was just natural. It was just on. I wasn't like working on keeping that on at that particular moment. It's just, that's what I was kind of hanging out with. And it struck me because I got into the martial arts in the first place because I was a weaker, smaller person, and like, frankly, kind of made a paper, like, an impact half that much, or somebody half that size, would have completely plowed through me several years ago. I remember before I moved here, somebody threw me a medicine ball that was like a 10 or 12 pound medicine ball that I thought was a black basketball. And I went to catch it, and it knocked me completely off my feet and onto my back. Like, I had no integrity at all. And then, going from that to just kind of hanging out, standing around, taking that kind of an impact and having it be just nothing. That's something that happened to me recently, that was affirmation that my 24/7 process and this kind of focus that I'm putting on it is paying off.
Yeah, that's a great example. And you probably helped avoid injury both for yourself and for the other guy as well.
Possibly. I don't know that he would have been injured, but I don't think he would have stayed on his feet otherwise.
Very good. All right, Sifu.
So I'll give you two. One's quick. Trying to open like one of these jars, like pickle jar or whatever, in the kitchen, and doing it with just my hands, and then realizing do Tai Chi and use my whole body power, and then right off, no problem. And I had really been straining like crazy. And I think maybe one of the kids was standing there, was going, "Dad," and I was like, "What?" Yeah. And then the other one is when I started studying Tai Chi when I was a teenager, and somewhere around 19, 20, something like that, I was playing, and at that time, I'm showing my age here, I was playing a Space Invaders video game that was actually in the box, like in the arcade, right? And they had the chair set up high, and so you were leaned up over the thing, and your head would be pulled back in order to see what's going on the screen. And I played that game for a couple or 3 hours. And at some point, I got this sharp shooting pain up my back, and was like, and then realized that even no matter else what I was doing, it hurt, and it hurt a pretty good amount. And I don't know that throwing my back out, so I would refer to it, but it definitely had an effect, a negative effect on my back, and immediately realized, well, I've been in this all bent up position. I'm going to sit the way that Tai Chi sits, where I've got that aligned through me and aligned, and did that. And it took an hour, 2, 3 to get it, but it did cause that pain and that problem to go away. And I realized, don't be sitting there all bent up over the video game like that anymore, and the posture. So that was a direct, challenging, frustrating situation, harming situation that Tai Chi had a specific solution for fixing, and ideally not having happened in the first place.
We all know video games can rot your brain. Few of us consider what they can do to your back.
Sifu, did you notice after you correct your posture if your scores improved on that video game?
Don't remember. I was in enough shooting, like sharp pain, that I was just happy not to be in pain. So, yep.
Very good. All right, so everybody's had their share, and for anyone listening, I hope you're getting a sense of the way that the Tai Chi practice, specifically when you set aside time and do your practice, can actually be extended throughout the whole day, and as well improve the activity that you are involved in. And as a personal note, I have actually noticed that my score on video games gets better if I do a little bit of better posture and breathing, and, you know, try to be a little bit more present. So tips on how to play better video games: sit up straight, just like your mama told you, sit up straight.
Tai Chi for video game mastery.
All right, so before we wrap up, I was wondering if anyone has reactions to other people's stories or anything else that occurred to them as we were having this conversation.
I will just take a moment to point out that what my personal example of the 24/7 Tai Chi, the thing that I've been kind of practicing and the way that it paid off, that's actually what I am also teaching at the gathering. I didn't really plan that, but that just happens to be the case. And I know that for a couple of you, you touched on things that you will also be sharing at the gathering. And so if the idea of getting these kinds of benefits and like incorporating them into your, you know, everyday life and really getting the kind of full experience of Tai Chi appeals to you in that way, you know, not only can you learn the process of getting the benefits from, you know, from Sheila's workshop, but also a number of the actual benefits that we've been talking about will be taught at the gathering. You know, it's going to be a great experience. So if you have not already, check out taichigathering.com. If you haven't signed up, go back to taichigathering.com and sign up.
That's for those of you who don't know, I've got a chocolate shop. I'm sitting here in front of the chocolate shop today, and one of the things I love about the gathering is that it's like the assorted sampler, right? You get a little bit of everything. So if you come to the Tai Chi gathering, you start to appreciate how, first of all, Tai Chi may be more of a broad subject than you originally appreciated, but also the way everything ties in to each other within the art, and as today's conversation shows, also leaks out into the rest of your life. And that's it for today.
So the other thing I was going to tell you about that, because I looked at the different questions there, right? And so with the 4 questions, you were trying to kind of get that all at once. Okay, so one of the things I put here was that, and I put it as part of my answer to the first question there, but then on the emotional benefit to using Tai Chi to triumph over resistance, I kind of moved it to that one. And that was that when I first started driving, I had gone to driver's ed in high school, like at the junior year, and then I didn't actually get a car, and that would have been when I was 17, 18. I didn't actually get a car until I was 21. And in the time span that had transferred, I went to do a driver's test or whatever and realized I didn't really know how to drive well enough to be good on the road. So I went and got driver's classes and all of that, then went and passed the test. But even then, when I went to drive, I realized that I was very, very, very tense about driving in my body, right? And the Tai Chi was what allowed me to recognize it, because I was like, this is the opposite of what you're trying to normally do in Tai Chi, right? And my belly in particular, even when I got relaxed enough with other parts, my belly would be all tight. And so I recognized that tension, and then and the stomach tension, and worked on, of course, releasing that and getting in touch with the body and the mind and with your emotions and spirit, all kind of tied into that one situation. And I also recognize that driving super tense, even if it's just your belly that's tense, it doesn't help you drive. Right. And so use the art to basically release that tension and use the relaxation to be a better driver, and to get to the point where, for the transformation, I've got there, stuff happens. It is how we respond to it. Tai Chi teaches us to roll and flow with around the punches and stuff, and then ideally to come up with better solutions than maybe the way we're handling it like that. And so I got to where I really liked at some point there, but a couple years out, really liked driving, because now I could relax and flow and be part of the way that the vehicle was maneuvering, instead of being all tense and uptight when doing it. Yep. So were you going to ask him about the newfound ability related to use of chi or structure, or was that kind of covered in what we did already?
Yeah, no, I just gave all those as possibilities of what you would like to share.
Okay.
Is that one that you want people to specifically
Yeah,
delve into?
Wanted to respond to it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's a lot, right? The having done it for that many years, it's just constantly a new aha throughout those years. And so being aware and recognizing much more about the fact that I'm having a physical, mental, emotional response to things, like I was having one to the driving, right? And it basically gets towards the heart mind work level of things. And it helps you to process on a deeper level. And by doing that and working it through the levels of person, human beingness, which is physical and energy and mind and spirit and so on. It's that when you get that processing on a deeper level, it allows you to develop a much less cluttered or an uncluttered mind. And there's a lot of benefit and use of that just in your whole daily activity ongoing. So people use the Tai Chi a lot of times, or it's known for being kind of stress relief, follow along in the form, float in the clouds, do the movements, right? And that's sort of the beginning level. But as you get the ideas on breath and relaxation versus tension and posture and alignment, there's other kinds of tensions and deeper kinds of tensions and things that then also get addressed and worked on by real understanding and application of the art. Anybody else?
Well, I'll just sort of reiterate what I said about using Tai Chi during the day for daily life, and the principles to go about motions and doing things, getting something else, keeping the whole body aligned. That I found that it, as I said, when I did my Tai Chi, it felt vastly improved as far as keeping connection and structure and everything. That they just worked synergistically, I guess, doing the Tai Chi principles throughout the day and practicing the form that each improved the other. So that's, again, just reiterating what I said, but I find it very valuable.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and it's one that I was actually going to mention as well in relation to Sifu Clear's story about driving. Is that's what I'm constantly impressed by in the complete art of Tai Chi, is that it really attacks things from like kind of every possible angle, like whatever it is. And so Sifu Clear had a negative experience around driving that was causing a lot of tension. And, you know, some people may only try to kind of deal with the experience. Some people may only kind of try to deal with the tension, but he did both. He was able to relax out the tension and kind of change his mindset about the experience. And by doing both things, it became something that he didn't just tolerate. He wasn't just like able to relax through it. He actually enjoyed driving afterwards. And by kind of tackling things from multiple sides like that, and by, you know, doing the training in your form and in the push hands, and then trying to bring it into your life, and by looking at things from like all the possible ways that you can address issues, it becomes a transformational process that really gives you the ability to kind of create your best life. And I don't know of any other, maybe it's just a lack of education on my part, but I don't know of any other like martial arts practices or even like mind body practices that really allow for that in such a complete way as Tai Chi. So if you want some of that in your life, definitely join us at the Tai Chi Family Gathering, June 3rd through 5th, right here in Maryville, Tennessee. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. A bunch of the regional organizers that are on these calls and in the podcast with us are going to be there teaching. Sheila obviously teaching on how to incorporate your Tai Chi skills 24/7 and really live your best life through your Tai Chi training that way. And, you know, the rest of us doing our thing too. It's going to be a blast. And you can find out more about that event and sign up at taichigathering.com.
Looking forward to it.
Us too.
Yep. Cool. Any other thoughts or comments for today?
One of my private students, I only started working with him about a month and a half ago. He really took the homework that I gave him for doing the hanging from a string and breathing throughout his daily life. And I've been shocked at how quickly he's improved on a lot of things because of that. And when I asked him about it, he's like, oh yeah, I'm cooking. I'm just, you know, shifting weight from one side to another rather than, you know, leaning and bending over one way. And he's just so happy and blissful about how he feels being able to apply the practice to everything after just 3 lessons, maybe.
Yeah, that's cool. No. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. You can stay on after the call if there's anything else you wanted to talk about or ask about, or hang out for a minute. And otherwise, hey, great talking to everybody today. Looking forward to seeing you all live here. If not before the Clear Tai Chi International Family Gathering, then at that event, everybody that's on the call currently will be there, and it's going to be a good time. That's Clear Tai Chi, or I'm sorry, that is taichigathering.com.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everyone.